Now that AutoCAD has been installed on your computer, you need to start it. So when you want to start AutoCAD, typically you're probably just going to go to your desktop, find the icon for AutoCAD 2017, and double click it to start. So the very first time you start this though, you're going to get a window that pops up asking you to enter in either your network license, your license number, or if you want to use the trial. I've opted to use the trial. Just click on the button that's appropriate for you in your settings and go from there. So the very first time you turn on AutoCAD, you'll probably get a window and it'll say Migrate Custom Settings. If you have a previous version of AutoCAD stored on your computer, you might want to do that. It'll bring over all the settings you've customized. If you haven't, then you can just cancel that. So once you have your licensing set up, your migrating settings, you're also going to need to set up an AutoCAD 360 account and sign in. Once you do, it'll have this little button right up here at the top right. Mine says Catalog. That's my username. When you're signed in, this will be here. I'm using the 30-day trial at the moment, and you can see that right here. This is at 30 days. Tomorrow, it'll say 29, the day after 28, and so on. This is what it looks like when you first start it up. Just this Start tab that's right here. Now, from here, you have essentially two options, the Create and the Learn. If I click on either one of these, it swaps back and forth. Now, the Learn has really cool features in it. If you look on the left side here, this says What's New. So if you watch this video, just click here. It'll play the video. It'll kind of give you an overview of some of the things that are new to this release of AutoCAD. Down through the middle are just some basic getting started videos. They'll kind of show you some basic things that you can do in AutoCAD. Same thing down here at the bottom. And then on the right, learning tips and resources. The majority of the time, though, you're going to be working right from this Create option right here. On the right, it's going to tell you some different things. It tells me here that I'm logged in. I can send some feedback. It'll let you also know if there's an update to the software or if there's some sort of issue that's going on. Here in the middle part are your recent documents. This shows you some files that you've had open in the past that you've been working with. And on the left is the interface you're going to use the most. Here you can start a brand new drawing. If I click on this arrow, I can find these standard templates. And if I click one of them, it'll start a brand new file, open it up, and I can go and start drawing in AutoCAD. Now the Start tab will always be here, and any drawings that you have open will have another tab. These are called the File tabs. And when I hover over them, it shows me the Layout Space tabs that I have available for that drawing. So in Drawing 1, it has the Model Space tab and then two Paper Space tabs, Layout 1 and Layout 2. It'll open up the drawing and take me right there. This plus sign, that starts a brand new drawing. This is a real quick way to get started on a blank brand new file. Now at the bottom left here are other tabs. These are your layout tabs. This is Model Space and then Paper Space tabs. They're the same things that I get to here. I can just get to any open drawing from here and navigate right to it. Down here in the bottom is just the drawing I'm currently working in. So use whichever method that you want to use. So that's your File tabs and your Layout tabs. This main area right here is the drawing area. In here is where most of my work is done. I can zoom in and out with my scroll wheel. If I click and hold the scroll wheel, I can pan around in my drawing, and this is where the bulk of the work is done. So after our drawing area here, I want to talk about the application menu. That can be found here in the top left corner. It says big red A. There is a little triangle here. Anytime you have that in AutoCAD, if you click it, that means there's another window that's going to pop out and give you more options to choose from. The application menu gives me some basic input-output type commands. I can create a new file. I can open an existing file, save or save as. I can import or export information. I can publish or print and get to other utilities or just quit AutoCAD altogether. That's what this gives me from the application menu. Also, my recent documents are set up right here as well. To the right of that is the quick access toolbar. New, open, save, save as, print, undo, or redo. And this little button here gives me options to turn on some other items if I want to. So if I use plot preview, batch plot, or properties, sheet set manager, if I want quick access to them all the time, I can click on here. So that's the application menu and the quick access toolbar. Most of your commands will be started from one of two places, either the command line or the ribbon. The ribbon is right up here. It's at the top of your work area. And the ribbon consists of different ribbon tabs. The Home tab, the Insert tab, Annotate tab, Parametric tab, and so on and so forth. Now, each of these tabs groups similar commands into them through panels. This is a panel right here. You see this little rectangle shape. It has the dividing line here. This is another panel, the draw panel, modify panel, annotate. So this further groups commands into very similar items. So this is draw. Anything in this panel will draw something, a line, a polyline, a circle, things like that. So this set of commands are activated just by hovering over the command, left clicking, and then I can just start drawing my line. When you start a command, you can cancel out of it at any time by pressing the escape key. Now, if you start a command and say, oh, I don't want to do the line, press escape, I'm out of it. Start the line command. I'm finished. I can press the escape key or enter to finish a command. If I press enter again, it restarts the last command that you did. Your spacebar will also act as the enter key. If you right click on your mouse, you'll get this little pop-up window and you can find different commands that you can work in: pan, zoom, cancel, or enter, things like that. Just like on the application menu flyout, the different commands or the panels will have flyouts. If I click on the arrow, I get different options for creating a circle. The standard circle command is right here. Start at the center, and I draw to the radius. If I click on the little arrow and I click this option, 2 point, then I can draw a circle with 2 points. And you can see the command you use last goes up to the top there. So if I click here again, it goes to the 2-point circle. Arc is the same way, and some of these commands here are for polygons or rectangles or different hatching, ellipses, etc. And a lot of these panels also have a little flyout that will give you access to more commands as well. Some panels, like over here on the far right, are shrunken down because you don't necessarily need to get to all of these very often. So what you do is you just hover over them and it will display this little flyout of all of the different commands available. Or if you click on the little arrow, it'll also do the same thing. The ribbon is made up of all these different types of panels and they all work exactly the same way. Now, when I enter in commands on the command line, if I type in a command like line, I press enter, you saw that it was typed in on my command line down there. And I pressed enter and now I've started the line command. As I draw, you'll see there are little prompts. What do you want to do next? Just follow the directions and it will show you what to do. A lot of people might want to use dynamic input. That is the command line, but it's at your cursor and it may already be on your computer. If so, I'm going to go and turn it on right here through what's called the status bar. Now, the status bar is a series of icons that are essentially just toggle switches of turning on the system variables or styles. If they're gray, that means they're off. Click on it. If they turn blue, that means they're on. Also, if you hover over them, it'll tell you if it's on or off. It'll also tell you what it is. So if you don't see the dynamic input anywhere on your status bar or any other toggles, go all the way to the right where it says customization, these 3 horizontal lines, left click on it, and that brings up a list of everything you can turn on. I like to turn on my coordinates so that I can see them over here as I move around. And then dynamic input is right here. If there's a check mark turned on, that means it's shown, it's visible. If not, that means it's not there. Click on it, turn on the check mark, and now it shows up. So now with my dynamic input on, when I type in a command, it shows up right at my cursor. That's convenient because then I don't have to draw my eyes away from where I'm working to the status bar, or I don't have to move from where I'm working to come up, navigate around the ribbon. I can just keep working where I am and I don't have to stop. There's also a thing called palettes. If you press the Control and 1 key both at the same time, that'll open up your properties palettes. Now, a palette is just that. It's something you can grab and move around. It may pop up somewhere differently on your screen. If so, you can just grab this left gray bar right here by left clicking and holding, and you can move it around. If you move your cursor to the edge, you can make it wider, taller, however you want it to look. You can also click right here. That'll hide it so that as you mouse over, it pops up. That way it takes up less screen room. If I left click and drag, I can move it so that it locks into the side there, which is something I typically do with the properties palette. When I select an object, that object's properties, the type, and all the information about it show up here so that I can see it, I can use it, I can even make some changes to it. The radius here is at 30. Let's change it to 15. Makes the circle smaller. Again, press the escape key to cancel that. Now I can close a properties palette by clicking on the little X, press Control 1 again, it pops right back up where it was before. So that's the basic user interface of AutoCAD with the different features that we have in it.